We are now recording the meeting. We're going to call this meeting to order January 20th, 2026, 6:04 p.m. We want to introduction of the board first. Ms. Charlene Fang, President, Marco Folsky, the Vice President, Victor Thomas, the Secretary, all present here. We also have some proxies. We also have Ms. Kim and Mr. Grayson of Unit A2 here at the meeting, and also proxies available for units B2, D3, F4, F3, A1, E4. B3 and C6 are also represented as well through proxies at the meeting. So this is going to be a valid quorum. This meeting will count towards our decisions towards the association. Just to get started here, if everybody has the agenda here, we're just going to go
Yeah,
right down the line. The next thing we're going to go over is going to be the year in review. So these are not in any kind of order or anything. They were just kind of as we were going through, just trying to remember what we did for the property this past year. We just kind of wrote them down. First thing was the cockroaches in building C and D building. We had to spend about 2280 for that. There was a big infestation in that building that we got taken care of, and I think everything from that is good. Yes, Victor, everything in that building is cool right now.
Yep. So
Cool.
everything's good.
Cool. Along with that, we also added a new picnic table and also a concrete area for the picnic table over by Building A. All of that cost about a little bit over $14,000 for the new concrete around the property. There was some sidewalks added to the back of Building B as well as the front of Building F leading up towards the pedestrian gate. It looks very nice now, very it looks good to walk on, you know what I mean? It's very welcoming, instead of like the old situation where they had to sort of walk all through the grass and things like that. Another thing that we did in the last year, we removed the old brick wall. There was a tree that was there the previous year that sort of was the roots and everything were sort of knocking that wall down, and it started crumbling. And after we removed the tree, some of it actually fell, and so we just went ahead and removed the rest of that brick wall, $2,500. The main sewer line in the C building actually cracked. And we had to replace that as well. And that's an ongoing issue with the property. We've already done it for building B, building A, building D, and now it's building C's now has failed this last year. And whenever it fails and whenever there's a crack in the system, so these are old iron pipes, and they're like kind of when they come together, there's a joint around them. I don't know if you've seen them together, but there's like two joints that are they just kind of come together and they kind of screw in through like the extra metal that is there around it. And just through time, I mean, the building is over, it was built in the 60s. So I mean, this is over, you
60 years old.
know, 70, yeah, 70 years old. So, these are going to have to be replaced. And I guess,
Cast iron, they're gonna collapse at
yeah.
one point.
Yeah, and usually at the joints, and when that happens, it
Right.
usually causes backup because they usually when they crack, they kind of like come like this. So it's the hole that was originally there for the sewage gets a little bit clogged and backed up. So what happens is that the sewage backs up into like the bottom units of the building. So now that the C building failed and we got that replaced, and that was about $6,200. A dehumidifier for the B building was purchased. As this actually we had one there previously, but it wasn't a commercial grade dehumidifier, so we got a commercial grade dehumidifier, which is a little bit more expensive, but I think it's worth it. Some of the other ones, it was just like oh, here's another person that's coming in. Good. Hello, Miss Sun. Welcome to the meeting. We've already started the meeting. We're actually in the year in review. If you have your agenda here, we're on the year in review right now, going through some of the projects that we had completed at the property for the past year. So the dehumidifier that we purchased for the B building, and actually I'm going to recommend purchasing another one for the E building as well, being as that this one worked out really well. The one that we had previously was sort of just like a really large dehumidifier. It wasn't like a commercial grade. It was a little bit less expensive. It was probably around like $600. But this one works out pretty well, and it hasn't failed yet. And it's been pretty much about 9 months now. The restoration to the D2 building after the foundation repair. So last year, in 2024, we went through that the D2 foundation or the D and the C building foundation issues. We got that repaired, but they actually had to dig inside that D2 unit to actually support the whole building. So we had to go through the D2 unit and actually restore that, meaning we had to take up all the flooring and all the concrete underneath and sort of repave it, put the new flooring back down, paint everything back over. That was another $4,800. Um, what we also did last year was increase the leasing permit fee and HOA dues, which came to a lot of scrutiny and a lot of comments from a lot of the other investors in the property. We can go through that in a little bit, but everybody was upset, or the investors were upset about increasing the dues on that. But you know, it's just something that I feel is necessary for the property in order to keep it maintained. And actually, the amount of that we do receive from the investors, we'll go through that in just a little bit when we go through like all of the with the financials. But I don't think it doesn't. I think having a lot of investors and a lot of renters at the property does a lot more damage than we're getting back in return from the leasing permit fees. But anyways, we'll go through that in just a little bit. Delinquency payments from the C1 building were collected in full. So she's paid up to date as of December 31st.
That's
Really?
good.
Yep.
Really?
But we'll go,
Wow.
we'll return back to this in just a few minutes as well. The new light fixtures to building A, because we have the new picnic table and the pad there by building A, we had to have some lights actually shine on it. So we actually changed the lights out on the building A light fixture towards the picnic table there. And then there was an issue with some of the decks sinking in the D building in the back. There was some issue with the support beams, so we replaced the support beams for the decks in the D building last year as well. And I think that's working out pretty well as well. Um, Anybody have any comments, questions about the year in review? Any other things that I missed maybe that we did a good job on? You guys can give us a pat on the back. No? Okay, let's move on.
Good
Yeah.
job, good job,
Thank
good
you.
job.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. So let's go moving on. Let's go over to the financials, which is the income statement. It looks like this. Y'all can see that. I know I'm blurring. Let me not blur my background.
Go it again?
It's this sheet here. It's this the one with all the numbers on it. All the
Got it.
yeah, we're gonna go through that here. This is the meat and potatoes of the association. I'm sure you guys want to know where all your money is going and how it's being spent. So this is just the first part of this is just the income. If you want to start at the very top, operating income and the expenses. We received 25 $100 from the special assessment income. Special assessment was for the D building foundation. It was just that some people didn't pay all up front, and a lot of, they were making payments and everything. So we didn't receive all of the payments until the completed. Actually, the last payment we received was in March. So that was counted as this year's income. In terms of normal association income, you can see that on the next line. Everybody pays 275 a month per unit. That averages out to be each unit will be paying 7,700. I'm sorry. Yeah, $7,700 per month. No, wait. Per month, everybody's paying 275. 275 times 12 was 275 times 12.
Twen- Times 28, no? Don't we have 28 units?
Yeah, that's 7,700, but let me see. 275 times 28. Yeah, 7,700 a month. That's how much we get just from association dues. And then the leasing permit income is about $6,400. There's 16 units that are being leased. Everybody paying $400 for the annual leasing fee. That's 6,400. So as I was saying before, in terms of, the cost benefit of leasing out these properties, I think we're still.
We increased this last year.
Yeah, we just increased it last year, and last year we did vote that it was going to be a hold for at least 2 years. So we're
Yes.
not going to increase that again this year. But in terms of the cost benefit of having, just the
Mhm.
investor unit is paying $400 per unit per year. I don't think that's, yeah, I think the the detriment to the property is higher than the benefit that we're getting for the $6,000, $6,400 per year for the people that are renting. That being said, that kind of leads me up to something else that we're going to talk about some of these tenants that are actually assaulting each other now. But we'll go on to that in just a minute. We're not going to go on into that just yet. We're just going to go through like the rest of the income and the expenses here. So you can see there the association income, the association permit fees were 6,400 from last year. Late fees that we collected were $700 from last year. Fines that we collected from last year, $750 from last year. And initiation fees. So initiation fees are whenever there's a new unit or a new person coming into the association, they have to pay an initiation fee. And actually, Miss Tran, Mr. Grayson were the ones that are the new owners to the property this year. That was the only one that was a new owner from last year. And cards and remotes, we got $50 from new cards and new remotes. A lot of times, whenever it's a new tenant and there's no cards available, we'll issue the first one for free. And then whenever they lose it or if something happens to it or something like that, then we'll charge them from there. I don't like to, charge for the very first time. If the tenant or something doesn't have it for the first time. I like to give them their first one free and then charge them from there. So that's pretty much all of the income from the property. Total operating income from last year was 102,738,033 cents. That's all income, everything all combined. Any questions from that, from our income?
It's not too bad compared to where we were several years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Everything's going to get more expensive, right? $102,000 sounds like a lot of money, but
No, no.
for a big property like ours, you're going to see that it's really not that, especially an aging property like ours. Pretty much all of it gets used. So let's go ahead and go through the expenses of the property. The first line there being the cleaning and maintenance, landscaping being 4,900. HOA dues, that was just I credited somebody incorrectly and I had to change it around, so that's why there's a negative there, but that's really not a negative. It's just really just switching the changing the units from where I had originally placed the credit to. So I had to place it to a different one. So I had to take it out of one. That's why it shows there. But the parking lot sweep is also the Natalia is the name of the cleaning lady. She comes by every Wednesday to sort of pick up around the common areas and around the property and picking up. She's supposed to pick up the dog poop as well. But I know that she doesn't pick up all of the dog poop there. And we'll go through that in a little bit as well. I know that's an issue at the property still. But that cost $5,134.73. It's $400 a month for hers. It's just $100 per day or per week that she comes. But there's some supplies that she has to buy, like garbage bags and things like that. That's why it's a little bit more expensive. It's
So
51.
you say the $400 she has to buy the dog bags herself?
Yeah, dog bags
Okay,
and garbage
No, no,
bags.
no. She gets reimbursed, so that's why
okay,
there's some months is 550 and 416 and
okay, so reimburse for her.
Yeah, Enoch is here now. What's up, Enoch?
Hey,
What's up? We are on the financials page. I don't know if you can
okay,
on this page here, going through some
all
of the
right,
we're going through the expenses. Actually, it's going to be the second page now that we're on, guys.
okay,
Second page
thank you.
where we're spending the money, which is going to be the insurance, property insurance. When we actually got a big discount on the property insurance this last year, we had originally the insurance was around 15 to $16,000 per year. We actually found a carrier that actually insured us for $10,000, but I don't know. So a lot of times, whenever I don't want to go too low on our insurance, the reason being is because whenever people try to sell, the new buyer, the new lenders that are lending out to the new buyers require a certain level of insurance. So you don't want to go like too low, too cheap, or whatever. But if they do come back with requirements of increasing the insurance, usually I'll come back to the board and just say, hey, D3 is for sale right now. They have a buyer, but their lender is requiring a little bit more insurance. do you guys approve this? And, hopefully you guys will approve it at that time. But that's what I kind of plan on doing instead of just like getting, the upgraded insurance now, wait until somebody's, selling and then have the lender require the increased insurance and then come to you guys to increase it. I think that's a little bit, more economical for the property. Also the next line down.
Tim, can you a little bit explain what's the insurance cover that? Cover what kind of, what they cover for our
I mean,
insurance?
it covers all the common areas, it covers like
Common
pipes.
area.
Yeah, it covers pipes, it covers roof, it covers a fire, things like that. Things that I can send you out the coverage and you
Yeah,
can take a
because
look at the policy.
recently I sent to you for the dead tree from the neighbor, drop a lot of dead tree on our sides.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, say, if somebody get hurt or cars being hit by those dead tree, who's going to pay that?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question, and overhanging trees is a big part of
There's
the
a lot of
policy.
dead trees hanging around our sides. It's better be careful.
Yeah, definitely. Good thing is that this year we didn't have to remove any trees. I know in the past we've had to remove many trees from the property.
Yes, but it's come back again, the dead trees.
Yeah. So the next line down after the property insurance, we're on the page 2 of the income statement, is the restoration at $4,800. That was the same thing, the D2 expense that I was talking about in the year in review. That was the only other expense for that.
I was wondering about that, Tim, since we just did it with the whole building CD a couple of years back. Isn't that a kind of a warranty thing?
Yeah, there's a warranty for it. I think it's quite extensive too. I believe it's like 10 years, 15 years on
Yeah,
the
well, even lifetime normally with the foundation, but I'm wondering, so we paid for 4,800 because we never did anything under the D?
No, it was actually more. It was actually 50 grand that we spent. This was in 2024. But this cost was at the very end after everything was done. They had to dig inside the D2 unit to actually place
Got
pillars
it,
underneath the
got
ground.
it, got it,
We
got
had
it,
to
yeah.
dig, and that's why we had to restore that unit. And that cost about $4,800 just for like the
Oh,
new flooring and the
got
new
it, got it, got it. Okay.
stuff now. Legal fees, accounting. I got our accountants just to charge $100 for our tax returns, so that was good. Another line down, management fees. That is my management fee there, $12.50 per month. Renovation and improvements. So if we move down, another line, renovation and
Can you guys
improvement.
put it on mute when you not speak,
Yeah,
Mrs.
somebody's on mute. I think that's Charlene or Enoch
Charlene?
or
You got
Enoch.
TV
Yes.
on. Put on mute. Put
No,
yourself
that
on
was
Did
mute.
Enoch.
I did I
It was
get
Enoch.
on mute?
No,
Okay, hold
it was
on. Let me
Enoch.
check.
Enoch, mute.
I'm on mute, I think. Am I mute?
No, you're not. There you go. Okay, there we go. So the next line down would be the renovation improvements, and this is going to be part of our budgeting as well. I like to try to like improve the property every year, just make some sort of, it's just something that like 2 years ago we extended the front fence. Last year we put the concrete down around the property, made it much more appealing. That was what the cost of it was $14,091.59 for the concrete around the property. And I think everybody can agree that it makes it look much, much nicer. The gutter cleaning for the year. We really should do the gutter cleaning maybe twice per year, but we only did it once this last year. Because we are cutting down a lot of the trees around, so there's become fewer and fewer leaves blocking up our gutters. Moving down the plumbing repairs, just a few minor repairs throughout the year, except for in November. You see that 6,200, and that was a C building blockage of the sewage line. A little bit. The next line down would be the HVAC. So whenever we did the foundation repair in 2024, we had to cut all the lines for the HVAC units back there as well. And we had to cut the lines and then reinstall them again. That was after the the foundation stuff was done. So then that was another $4,175. That was that cost. Other repairs, if you move down, repairs other 2,500 in February 2025 for the wall removal of the wall. New light fixtures, $400. Support beam, $1,750. Another $600 for another minor repair for uh, the um, the handrails around the property. I think that was for Building E. That's $600 for the handrails on Building E. Um, the next line down from that would be gate repair. Luckily for us this year, usually gate repair is very expensive. I mean, it's an older gate, and like a lot of for some reason, a lot of people like to mess with the gate, climb on it, mess with it, squeeze between it, whatever it is. We usually have usually between like $5,000 and $10,000 worth of repairs on the gate per year. Last year, we kept it down to $2,800 per year, so that was good. Last year. Moving down supplies, just random supplies in terms of signage for the property and garbage bags and things like that. $139 for the year. The next big expenses that we're going to have is the utilities on the property. That's the next lines down. Electricity came out for the whole year at $3,315. Not too bad. Water, $20,758.34. Um, that's our biggest expense is the water in terms of utilities, and then garbage and the garbage is actually pretty good. I don't think $4,000 per year is all that bad for the property, especially for two-time service per year. And actually, Waste Management asked us if we could like stop using their service because for some reason I think we got like under an old contract that they're not making any money on, so they want to kind of like cancel us. But we still have 2 more years on their contract, so they gotta stick with us for another 2 years at $4,000 per month. Going over to the last page of the income statement. Other costs, the internet, phone, and cable. The internet obviously operates the camera system and also the front gate at the property, and that is it is exactly $113.95 per month. Totaling out, it's going to be a little bit more than that. We didn't make the December payment just because the bill didn't come until January. So in January, you're going to see two charges on that for the next year, but it is $113.95 per month for that. Um, Moving down, pest control. So pest control, we did have some issues with the cockroaches and also some like bees and things like that on the outside of the property. And that's where the monthly fee, we started that probably about February, March of last year, which is $90 per month for like the regular exterior service where they just kind of spray the outside for termites and spiders and wasps and things. So if you do see like some wasps and things like that, let us know. Like I said, we're covered under the pest control people. We can call them out and they can take care of that immediately. I'd like to call them out, and it's covered in the $90 per month. They'll do extra service if there's infestation of bugs. So it doesn't cost us anything to send them back out. So if you see something, let us know. We'll take care of it. In terms of the next line down, oh, and also the pest control, you can see in months September and October, that's when we did that big cockroach spray for building C and D. That's why you can see a little bit more fees during those months.
Was that Kenneth Washington?
Yes, that's correct. Your guy.
Yeah.
Correct. He did a great job. Like I said, I think Victor said that still no reinfestation or no problems with it coming back. In terms of government fees, we have to Georgia Secretary of State. We have to register our name, $35. Other materials and things like that around the property, $546. Tree removal. It looks like we did have some. I guess we did cut back some trees or some branches at the property. That because that's not too big of a cost. $500 to cut back some trees. Um, and that's very common at the property. As a matter of fact, we usually remove a tree or two every year, but last year we just sort of cut back some trees, so that's good. Door King gate subscription. That's just the software system that runs the gate. $70 per month, 69.95 per month. In terms of the next line down, appliances, that $1,700 was the dehumidifier that we have for Building B, and like I said, that was purchased in June, and I think it's working quite well over there. Because the basements of both the B and the E building are quite damp, and you kind of need a dehumidifier down there, especially in building. The reason why we had in Building B first is because we have our security cameras our computer is down there, so we want to keep that area dry so it doesn't like, fritz out or short out the the computer software system for the cameras in the B building basement. So that's why we had the dehumidifier there first. So that brings all of our total operating expenses for the year at $110,203.42. So you can see that that is a negative, a negative on the net operating income of $7,465 per year. We're going to go through the budgeting here in just a little bit. But I tell you what, let's just go ahead and go through the budgeting here for the next year. So this is going to be the final document here. If you can see this one, move my face in there. Yeah, this one here, where it kind of has all of what we actually spent um, last year as compared to what we can budget for next year. So if you want to go through pretty much all of the expenses that I just went through here are the same that I had from maybe a little, maybe I added like 1% to these numbers, but usually I didn't add anything to these numbers from last year, which I really should. But I wanted to, try to keep the budget as tight as we can for this next year as well. I know nobody wants increased HOA dues, so we're trying to operate as tight as we can. So if you want to look down on the two big or the two expenses that we can actually kind of manipulate a little bit, if you move down to renovation and improvements and then repairs and maintenance. So the repairs and maintenance this last year came out to be about $19,000 and something. So that's why I put the repairs and maintenance again at $20,000. We don't know what those repairs and maintenance are going to be, right? I mean, it could be whatever it is, a gutter falls off, lightning hit, and well, if lightning hit, we can use the insurance, but whatever, somebody, whatever it is for the repairs and maintenance that are going to come about. It was $20,000 last year. I put another $20,000 for it this year. The renovation and improvements, last year we spent $14,000, like I said, on the concrete and stuff like that around the property. I put it at $10,000 this year. When we get back to the agenda, there's a few things that we can that I'm going to propose that we can, spend this $10,000 on, or maybe we can spend a little bit more on, and hopefully, the maintenance and the repairs, luck, will be on our side this year, and we won't spend as much on that on the repairs and the maintenance this year, and we can spend more on the renovations and improvements. But that's $30,000 per year between the two of them, and that's kind of like the cushion that we have. $30,000 just for, repairs and improving the property. If you want to move down on the budgeting, utilities, I pretty much kept the same, maybe increased it just a little bit, just because, everything increases in price. So I kept all of those almost identical the same. So if you look at the grand expenses, grand total for next year, I'm hoping that they're only going to be about $98,000. This last year was $102,000. Hopefully it'll go down to about $99,000 per year. So, we have a little bit of savings in our account. If you look down here, below that, that is where our income comes in. This is set in stone. $92,400 is what we get if everybody pays in HOA dues. $6,400 is all we get in terms of the leasing permit income. Total income 98,000. You know what I mean? So if we keep it at 98,787.13, and we come up at 98,800, I mean that's as tight as we can get in terms of the budget at $12.87. Hopefully, like I said, that $20,000 that we've allotted for maintenance and repairs we don't use, or it isn't $20,000, so we can have a little bit of savings and start saving up for like bigger projects, like yeah, fixing up the parking lot. The parking lot eventually is going to need repair, to be replaced. And not just so there's two ways that you can like fix a parking lot. You can actually pull up the existing asphalt and then pour down new asphalt, and that's very, very, very expensive. Probably for the size of our parking lot, probably close to $500,000. Or if you can, there's another thing where they seal it, where they spray this coat, another coat of sort of asphalt on top, and that's what we've been doing, and that's what a lot of communities do just because it's way less expensive. If we were to do that, that is only about 18,000, $20,000. But once again, we don't really have the budget for that this year. Maybe we can think about doing that next year. But that's the budgeting that I'd like to propose for next year, 2026. If you guys want to go back onto your agenda, back to this main page here of the agenda, we're going to go over to, that was the financial report. We're going to go over to the final page, the third page, review of proposed 2026 projects. We want to go there. Starting at the top, a new dehumidifier for building E. I think that's a real easy one. I think we need it. If you go down into the E building basement, it's kind of damp and kind of scary down there. A new dehumidifier will actually help it out quite a bit. These are other projects, like I said, that the board members will vote on after this meeting. These are just kind of like just me throwing projects out there, and you guys can actually add after I'm done with these. If you guys have other projects that you guys want to add to it that we can vote on, or the board can vote on later, we can actually do that as well. But a new fire pit, there was a new fire pit that can be added to the outside of the F building. I don't know if you see the pedestrian gate. There's a little area over there that people have discussed maybe putting a fire pit there with some seats around it, make it look nice. Paving asphalt erosion by behind the C building. If you look, if this is an ongoing issue with the property as well. The backside, the behind building C and building D, there's a creek, and that creek is eroding the earth away behind that parking lot, and eventually we gotta do something about it. Otherwise, the parking lot's going to fall into the creek. We don't know when that's going to be, but this is another project that we've been discussing over the past few years. We haven't had enough money or the chance to get that one done yet. Pressure washing the property, $3,000. That's for all of the buildings, all of the concrete, all of the back patios. Common area hallway renovation. That's repainting and new flooring to some of the hallways that we have. That's the common areas. It's $1,500 for each hallway, $2,000 since the C and the D building are a little bit larger. $2,000 for those two common areas. I think that might be a project that we can do this year. It's been many years since we've actually renovated those. Probably at least 5, 6 years that we've done any of those. Probably closer to like 8 or 10 years, honestly.
What was that?
I'm sorry?
What was that?
The common area hallways.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't done those in over.
Carpeting and painting inside, basically
Yeah.
the staircase.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
basically, yeah, yeah. Building E foundation repair, when we had the building D building repair, they also recommended the building E foundation repair, but they said that it wasn't as bad as the building D. So if you notice, like if you go into like the E building basement, you'll see cracks on the walls, and that's just settling, and that's just what they're talking about repairing is just like, putting more a firmer foundation underneath. What they do is they actually dig underneath and put a pillar down there, and then they
Pickets. They
cover it
put
back
like
up.
pickets. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Like always 1 feet at a time, and then
yeah,
they dump
yeah,
it down there.
yeah. And for the E building, that's $35,000, $34,000 and some change. Also, another thing would be the electrical panels in the building. So the common area electrical panels are original, built in 1960 or whenever the buildings were built. So and they're actually not up to code anymore. They're fine to use because there's not a lot of electricity that's actually going through them right now. But you know, if because it is a code violation, that always kind of scares me. Just because if there was a fire to come from this or something, and the building were to burn down, and then maybe insurance would be like, those are old electrical panels, and you guys didn't fix them, and that's why we're not covering this or something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking worst case scenario that we should get it up to code eventually, but that's not cheap to replace these electrical panels. We got quotes from people up to $7,000 per building, and there's 6 buildings, so that's 40 something thousand dollars. Another thing that I think we should do this year, I think it would be a good one, will be to update the association bylaws to reflect the current way of doing business. So the original bylaws were written in 2005, back when the internet wasn't the way it is now, and back when meetings weren't performed that they are now through Zoom and things like that. I just want to update the bylaws just to reflect electronic, you know, communication. Emails are valid forms of communication. Zoom meetings are valid forms of
They
communication.
cost that much, $2,500?
Yeah, I mean, lawyers cost money, Marco. If you want to find another attorney, I,
No?
ha- I had another association that did it, and that's how much it costs. That's
Oh,
so, you
okay.
know what I mean? If you find another attorney that can do it, I mean, just to get an attorney
I
to
have
look
enough
at
with
something.
attorneys, so
Just get an attorney to look at something is 2 grand. You know what I mean? So, like I said, $2,500 to reflect the way that we're doing business now, I think is a smart idea. Once again, just in case if we come through a lawsuit, if somebody's suing the association, they say, oh, that meeting wasn't valid. You did it via Zoom instead of, you're supposed to meet every, at the building, at this time and whatever, how the bylaws have, instructed it. I think it's a good way just to sort of protect ourselves and just get everything caught back up. Like I said, it's been 20 years since we've updated those bylaws, so I think that's a good idea just to do it that way. In terms of the next project, maybe instead of a fire pit, some people have mentioned they want to build a new fenced-in dog area by the F building. That's about $4,000. I mean, it's really up to the board if they want to do that. Fire pit, don't do anything. Up to the board. We'll kind of let them decide on that. But that's just another project that we've heard people wanted to get done. Motion light to be added to the exterior of E building storage area. That's not too expensive, but apparently, it's just good to have motion lights, outside the exterior of that building, especially in that entryway down there. Is that area lit at nighttime? Like the entryways into the B basement and the E basement, are those lit at nighttime? Do y'all know? Y'all pay attention?
And I don't know. Well, at least I think it's dark all the time.
Okay. Well, we can add some motion. Then that's not a big cost. We should probably do something like that anyways. Uh, New solar lights to be added to Chestnut Creek sign. Oh, the Chestnut Creek sign. That's also not very like the Chestnut Creek sign, but out front.
Right. Usually there's a beautiful sun. It lights up during the nighttime. You can see when you go home during the nighttime, you can see that the lights on. But
Yeah.
now I don't think so. I think it's dark.
Yeah, we'll get that done too. That's
Get a
not
new
that's not
one. Yes.
that's not a very big cost as well.
Right. Right.
That's not a very big cost as well. In terms of other items of additional business and items of concern, capital reserve fund, we need a capital reserve fund. A lot of times, also whenever there are people, lenders, whenever they're trying to lend to purchase one of our units, a lot of times that they'll check to see if we have a capital reserve fund. If we don't have one, that's a strike against us. You know what I mean? We want to have a lot of money in our funds and a backup because a lot of times these lenders won't even give a loan out to somebody if we don't have one, a capital reserve fund. We don't have one now. We used to, but then we had to spend all of it, and now we don't have one. Two two units right now are currently listed for sale. D2 and F2, both about 175, $178,000. They are not selling right now. It's
So
kind of
you know what? I saw today my Zillow thing came back. The value is 142,000 at the moment.
Woo! And Zillow's usually a little high too, so yeah. So that's just where we are at the market is that they've been listing it now for over 3 months and nothing's moving over there. I haven't even gotten any calls about like views or anything, but you know, that's something else. There was a noise complaint from Miss Kim and Mr. Grayson concerning the A2 unit. How's that going, Kim and Grayson? Everything better with it now that I think the previous tenant moved out now, so I think everything should be much more quiet.
Nothing had changed yet. I still hear the noise at nighttime.
There's still noise there?
Yeah.
Okay. Marco, what have we had any improvements in terms of like maybe putting a rug down or something? I know we had talked about that previously.
We did, but also the previous tenant moved out, so there's only a man and a woman and a little baby living there, very small newborn.
What are you hearing at nighttime? Is it the same type of noise, Miss Kim? Or
Yes.
is it's same? Same
Yeah.
just as loud?
Yeah. Sometime at 3 in the morning, sometime at 5 a.m. And I woke up middle of night and I had woke at 7 a.m.
Mm. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys, Marco, because I think he was trying to contact you previously, but you wanted us, the association, to be a part of like those conversations. why don't we, afterwards, I want to have a meeting with you and Mr. Marco, and we can discuss other ways that maybe help that situation out. I don't want to just have everybody here, having to get involved with this, but I just wanted to mention that at the meeting. But we'll have another meeting with all three of us after this.
All right, thank you.
Sure, sure. Dog waste around the property, Miss Charlene, dog waste around the property. I know you've been putting signs out, so if you guys see signs around the property that say "Shame on you" next to dog poop, that is Miss Charlene putting the that sign by the dog waste. We did the majority of those fines that we collected from last year were from, people leaving their dog poop out and whatever. Hopefully, I guess it didn't really help all that much. We tried to have an incentive program of if you have video footage of
Cannot
people
find it
leaving.
because they come very late.
Yeah,
Enoch also know that they came very late and they hide in some bush place. Is totally avoid the camera. They did it purposely. I don't know why they do that. But the cleaner also say the huge poop area, the poop area in the behind the C building also. So they don't care. That they upset me because those people they don't care about
we
to
gotta we gotta have video footage. You know what I mean? First thing they're going to say is if we have that's not my dog, right? Everybody's going to say that. We got to have video footage. If you guys catch them, video it. And like I said, there's an incentive program. I think we're rewarding you guys. The fine money goes to you, so we'll fine them, give it to you. You know what I mean?
well, you know that the E and F building, the dog stand, and
Mhm.
also A building and B building, they don't have a camera over there.
I know. So, I mean, we can add more
And those
cameras.
the
I mean,
most the
that can
dog poos
be
over there.
that can be another project. You know what I mean? Upgrade the camera system. We can get quotes for that. Let me add that here. Upgrade a camera system. Maybe add a couple of cameras in between over there, maybe behind the buildings, because I know we don't have any cameras behind the A and B and E and F buildings back
Right,
there either.
right.
So, I mean, that's another thing we can do. Or like I said, you guys have to help. You know what I mean? You guys see them doing it, shame them. Shame them, video them, and like I said, if we get a fine, we can fine them, reward you guys with that fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they came like Enoch says came on they come on the midnight. How did you wake up
Yeah.
that long to do that?
Hey, $250. Well, I don't know.
No way.
Maybe.
I I was telling Miss Charlene since I moved in this complex 4 years ago, on my days off when I walk my dog, I actually pick up whatever I see.
That's so
I
nice
don't
of you.
care. And it's just, I've always owned dogs, so
Thank you.
that's usually something I do. I've
Thank
never
you.
mentioned it until Charlene was mentioning about the issue this past few years. And I'm like, actually, I pick it up myself. I don't
Yeah.
say nothing, but maybe Miss Charlene has a point where we have to publicly shame people rather than just help them from behind.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I love to find the incentive issues. I think that's a great idea. And even like for me and Miss Charlene, like we're dog lovers. We're not there to like even if we caught and these fines were taken. I was one of the advocates for a dog enclosure. I didn't know. I was hoping it was going to be behind E building where that little, like the back area by the little creek. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I thought that would be a better to just
Whatever.
keep all the, and then in the front we could still reserve it to for a fire pit, which is an amazing idea.
Sounds
And
good to me.
then, and then I was saying we don't even have to like pull from our budget. If we do catch the fines, we could just build a fund from there,
There
to
you go.
ideally in the future. And then that way we can set if dogs are walking around, they should all just be in the dog park. That way we can basically but Charlene and I live right above there, so we can see everything happening in the dog park. And then we
Good,
can
good.
catch who's leaving it behind. That would
That's
be a
fine. That's fine. So behind
but
you, you're saying have the dog area behind building
yeah, right,
C
because
and
it's
D?
yeah, because it's always swampy during the rainy seasons. Nobody walks in the back anyways.
Yeah.
We could just utilize that for a
Okay.
dog park. And then the fire pit, I didn't that's a great idea. I don't know who came up with it and who came. I know Miss Charlene came up with the barbecue place, which is awesome. I did see summertime some people use it and that bouncy
Nice.
house, which is really nice. I don't use it, but I thought it was really nice.
Nice.
And so we could do a fire pit definitely in the front. That would be cool.
And it's
And
not that
then, but
expensive.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. And then the dog park thing, we'll just pull from the fines that we get from catching, because I don't think any of us is short for $100. We're trying to rat people out for 100.
Hey, that's even
Yeah,
that's even better.
But Enoch,
yeah, yeah,
Enoch, your dog's huge, and
yeah,
we all have
yeah.
small. If
No,
your dog join us, we scared to death.
no, but actually, no, there are some big dogs. But Zeus is actually pretty well. I mean, with me, Miss Charlie, and everyone else, at least Zeus with me is very nice. Sometimes I know if he's with my dad or mom, he gets protective. But normally, he's a decent dog. But he's almost old. He has like 4 years left, and then that's it.
Okay. So, anybody else have any additional business items of concern for the property? I mean, this is the time to let it go. Let's hear it. Any kind of
Don't,
improvements?
Tim, don't forget about talking about the safety, the issue.
Oh, okay. One other issue. This just actually just happened this last weekend. There was an assault of a tenant. So whenever I was mentioning, there's the tenancy, people renting, renters aren't just they're not gonna take care of a property as well as, owners are. That's why I was saying, that $6,400, for the rental fee is really nothing in comparison to the damage and things that are going to occur from the renters. But this is just an example of it. Is that the F4 tenant just filed a police report and an assault claim against the F1 tenant. Apparently, F1 beat up the F4 tenant.
See, I
So.
told you it's a F1.
Yeah, you're right. Anyways, I just found that out today. The police and the F4 tenant came into the office and they were mentioning that, so I had to give them all the information. I don't we don't have to be involved as of right now, and I don't want to be involved. I don't want to get involved unless I have to. You know what I mean? I like to let things lie until it's necessary for me to get involved. But anyways, right now I just gave them the information. So that's just an example of, tenants at the property. F1 just beat up F4, accused. Apparently, this is not allegedly. This is nothing has been confirmed or anything like that. But that's just what I wanted to let everybody know. So just giving you all a heads up. F4 is accusing F1 of beating him up. So. Um, any other items of concern, projects that you may want to take up in the next year? Let's hear it, guys. Miss Sun, I saw that you came on. What's up? How's the sale of the property coming? She's the owner of the building D3, and I think the sales of it are quite slow. Any way that we can actually help with the sales? Maybe something we can do at the property to help you sell it? You listening, Miss Sun? Hello? Okay.
Maybe the person needs to put up a sign in the window.
Maybe. All right. Victor, what do you think? How's the property treating you? What can we do to help your living space get better?
I'm good. It sounds like we need a spending cut, but there's not.
I mean, like I said, damaged sewage lines. I mean, I gotta fix. You know what I mean? Things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that around the property. I mean, I gotta fix it.
I
But
mean, like purely improvement spending,
yeah, well,
because
like I said, I gave you guys a couple of projects. You know what I mean? Whoever's on the board, we can, start looking at these projects and picking which ones we want to do, which ones, we're going to hold off on. You know what I mean? Of course, I got 10,000 allotted for it, but I usually wait a couple of months, you see if anything happens, and then, and plus, people don't like to work in the winter time. So once the spring comes around, then we'll get some of these projects going. But anything else? Miss Kim, anything around the property that you see you want to improve on? Anything? I mean, you guys are new to the property. You guys bring fresh eyes, fresh views. So what do you guys think? Have you met any of the neighbors? How do you feel about the community?
Oh, I've been busy working and I have school too, so I haven't like go out much.
Hmm.
But I wanted like a community garden if it's in the possible in the future because some of the people in here I think they're on a senior side too. So community garden would be a
That's a
good
good idea
idea.
too. That's a good idea too. Like community garden where everybody just sort of, I'm planting some tomatoes here.
I totally support that.
Okay, well, like I said, we'll add that and that's not a very expensive cost either. So we can add like a community garden to the property. That sounds like a great idea. Maybe a greenhouse, maybe.
Yes,
I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, something like that. Great idea.
yes.
Great idea. Anybody else? Enoch, anybody else have any other ideas,
There
projects?
is. there's one thing I want to mention is because we're talking about like one of our costs is the car gate. A lot of people going through the two gates to slide through instead of
That's so
avoiding through the
true.
pedestrian door.
Yes,
There
yes.
is, I mentioned it to Charlene before, but I don't know if everybody has experience, but sometimes when you press the green button to go out, it it cancels itself out by the time you pull on the new door that's a little further out. So what I do is I always do it because I memorize the code. I just put my hand through the other side and type it in. But I do see a lot of people because of that door issue, they go through the main door. And that's one reason I think a lot of people, if we could find a way to fix that, maybe we can cut down even more cost for
We'll
the
look at it. Yeah.
expenditure. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Maybe we set the, I don't know if you can set the time for 10 seconds instead of 5 seconds.
So it's
What's
too
the rule?
short. The time that you press
Yeah,
it is too short.
summertime is great because I think the power supply is great. I don't know, summertime, no issues. It's only when it gets to the wintertime, it seems to
Interesting.
shorten the time of wait time. And by the time you get to the gate, it doesn't open. People just go to the other side because they're trying to run whoever's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. All right,
Uh,
That's it.
we'll definitely look into that. The button on the pedestrian gate.
Yeah, exactly.
Question: could you turn like everything you just said into a newsletter?
Sure. Sure. Newsletter for the property.
Well, the gate stuff, because I didn't know any of that. I don't use it.
What are you talking about? You don't use the pedestrian gate?
No, I never use it.
How do you get in and out? Just the car all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if yeah, I mean, we give it to all the new tenants. We give that information out to all the new tenants, and we try to, the people that actually use it, they ask, and we give them that information. But we'll definitely send you that information.
But the point is like E3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, E3, a lot of boarding house for a lot of new people in there, so they don't know the number.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely let them know, and we'll let their landlords know to tell them because I don't like to mingle with the tenants. Sometimes they think I'm trying to poach on their clients or something like that. I don't like to do that. I'll just tell the owner, and they can.
Yeah, you have to tell the owner because they have a lot of new people coming, they don't know the number.
Right, right. Okay. So we can definitely do that as well. Anything else, guys? Anything else?
It's pretty good meeting. Thank you
Okay.
so
Not
much.
done yet. Not done yet.
Oh, okay.
One last thing. We have to approve the budget. Is everybody cool with the budget? Everybody vote, are there any votes against this budget? No, I'm not increasing the dues or anything like that. So pretty much we're just going to run it as tight as we can. Hopefully, like I said, the $20,000 in repairs and maintenance is not that much, and we can use some of that money towards, improving the property or just saving the money for something, bigger down the road. With that, does anybody not approve the budget?
I think pretty reasonable.
Okay, good. So the budget is approved.
Wait.
No.
So like, there's a $10,000 improvement budget.
Yep.
In the past, has that all been run dry?
Yes. Last year we went over. Last year we spent 14,000 on the concrete. So
Okay.
that's kind of a big project though. Like I said, the projects that I've recommended for this year, the fire pit and things like that, those are all relatively inexpensive. So, like I said, the board members will make that decision.
For
Got it.
Victor, I obviously joined this association, but a lot of these improvements are done closer to the end of the year when the budget looks good. We don't do it like in January and then we get hit by something else. We usually
Gotcha.
postpone it, and then if we anticipate no surplus, then
Exactly.
we take on an additional. If that makes sense. If you're
Yeah.
worried about like, oh, let's build the fireplace, and then we get hit by 20K
Actually,
something. Does that make? No, yeah. We usually tend to, from what I've observed for the past few years, we tend to do it later on in the
Exactly.
season.
I like to wait, and the contractors like to wait anyways. They don't like to work during the winter time, so definitely like February and March, kind of, and then we'll plan something for April, May, June, get started with some stuff. But all right, so the budget is approved then. Yes. One last thing that we have is, okay, so now we need the election of the new board members. Now we've had the same board members here now for quite a long time. And I've heard some people that maybe want to sit on the board this year.
I nominate the Enoch from C4 to join our board member.
Enoch, Enoch, just for a year, we need 3 people.
We could, if nobody wants to, then that's it. But I would love to stay as a
Miss
normal tenant. I got enough to deal with in my
Miss
life.
Charlene, I think you want to still stay on, right? Miss
No,
Charlene?
no, no, no. I'm tired of that. I'm become like a witch, the witch watcher now. I'm
Yeah,
look
yeah.
more
Don't become
ugly
like the
now.
Steven guy or whatever this guy's
I
name was.
look more ugly now.
Charlene,
Oh, Stephen?
Charlene, make sure you don't become the pain guy like this guy Steven was,
I
you know?
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
But
Miss Kim, would you be interested in sitting on the board this year?
Please, please.
Okay, sure.
Miss Kim? Mr.
Thank you,
Victor?
thank you.
okay,
Mr.
welcome.
Victor, did you want, I know this was going to be a temporary thing for you. Did you still want to stay on the board or?
Sure, but if somebody wants to join, I'd be down to swap.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, because what we can do, but I'd like to have, and Mr. Marco, what do you think? Mr. Marco?
Well, I like to stay on so I get some information on what's going on the property.
Yeah, I mean, you still get the
And
information. You still get the information. It's just that.
no, but I mean, it's kind of
I like that too. I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
because, you know, quite frankly, we've done now some significant work
Yeah, no,
where
the
we
board
were
has
in the
been good.
past, you know, so
The board
I
has,
think we know the property quite well, and
sure.
I think
sure.
it, you know, because of my work as well, so it's kind of uniqueness in this combines a little.
Sure.
Excuse me.
So, Miss Kim, we only need 3. If it's Miss Charlene, Mr. Marco, Mr. Victor, and Miss Kim, did you want to wait till next year to join the board? Or if you really want to join this year, we'll have to have an election. And with the election, we have to, you know,
I
Oh, wait.
like to take a break to let the Miss Kim to on the board, please.
okay, so you want Marco, Victor, and Kim.
I thought Enoch's going to come.
No, he left already. He don't want to do it.
Oh my God. Okay.
Is
So
that going to
that'll
be
be
good
good.
with, is that going to be good with everybody? We'll make Mr. Marco the president. We'll make Mr. Victor the vice president and Miss Kim the secretary of the association. So you 3 will be deciding which projects that we're going to be doing and things like that at the property.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss
Okay.
Kim.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds
so
good.
Miss Charlene, you are off the board. You're free.
Oh, hallelujah. Thank you.
So you are free to go. If there's not anything else for this meeting, we're going to adjourn this meeting. We're going to adjourn it
Thank
at
you.
7:01 p.m. Miss Kim, Mr. Marco, I'm going to send you guys a separate email, and we will meet. We'll discuss in a separate email the situation that you guys are going through. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to send another email after this meeting. But in terms of this meeting, we are adjourned. Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
Very
Have a wonderful
successful
day.
26. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.